The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning here at 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. And on this Tuesday, Kevin Charette back from his Sunrise adventure and back in studio.
Yeah, kind of giving us a forecast that's a little bit of a reprieve from those extreme hot temperatures that we saw, although we'll still be in the triple digits, right, Kev?
Yeah, we still have a lot to talk about. It's still going to be hot. Now we're introducing the chance of thunderstorms and fire danger is high. So many things to talk about on this Tuesday morning. Let's take you outside and show you the skies right now around Kern County. We've got a few clouds trying to drift in from the northeast, and that will increase as we go throughout today. And we take a look at the watches and warnings, and still that excessive heat warning in place until 8 o'clock tonight. We also have the red flag warning or the fire weather warning until 8 p.m. this evening as well. So a lot of things for Kern County. Here's a look at our thunderstorm forecast for today, and you can see all of the Kern County mountains are under the gun. About a 20 to 30% chance of seeing these thunderstorms, and this could bleed into the Bakersfield area as well. So we're going to be watching things carefully as we heat up this afternoon. 78 degrees out there right now, a north-northwest wind at 6 miles per hour. As we take a look at the day here, we're going to start out with a few clouds, and then you can see I increase that chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon. Temperatures by 4 o'clock right near 102. Out of Tehachapi right now at 64 degrees under a calm wind. Those winds pick up a little bit this afternoon. Hour by hour here, 72 degrees by 7 a.m. We're looking at some 90s this afternoon, and we're also looking at a 30% chance of some thunderstorms. We'll talk more weather in just a little bit. For now, back over to you.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:02, and in education news this morning, the Kern High School District met last night to discuss a new ethnic studies program in its schools. The district says the new ethnic studies course is not connected with critical race theory, which has caused controversy across the nation. Board President Jeff Flores says the course is focused on celebrating multiple cultures in Kern County and what he calls the American experience. The goal is to focus on 4 subgroups: Native Americans, African Americans, Latinos, and Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders.
Why should we have an ethnic studies class? Our goal is that it will help bring students and communities with diverse backgrounds together in a united community. It can only help build up that school climate on our campuses that is good.
The curriculum is under development because there is a bill in the legislature that, if signed by the governor, could require high school students to take an ethnic studies course to graduate. Meantime, the Panama Buena Vista Union School District put a pause on training courses for educators called Mistakes We Have Made: Implications for Social Justice Educators. The course was put in place to teach and train staff on social justice-oriented classroom practices, but after parents spoke out, the district put that curriculum on hold.
Today's your last chance to weigh in on proposed boundary changes in the Kern High School District brought about by the opening of Del Oro High School. The district says the Citizens Committee has been working since April to revise the attendance boundaries. The new boundaries will go into effect August of 2022 when Del Oro High School opens its doors at East Panama Lane and Cottonwood Road. The last forum on the changes is happening tonight at 7 p.m. at Golden Valley High School. For more information or to view the boundary maps, visit our website, kget.com.
Now to an update on the Shell fire currently burning near the base of the Grapevine. Kern County Fire, which is the lead agency, says crews made significant progress yesterday despite the hot temperatures. The blaze is nearing 2,000 acres, but the fire is now 50% contained and is no longer impacting traffic. Fire officials say their efforts were hampered on Sunday when a private drone interfered with its helicopters.
National news this morning, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is facing some criticism after reportedly refusing in a face-to-face meeting with a Capitol Police officer to publicly denounce 21 House Republicans who voted against giving police officers a Congressional Medal of Honor for defending the Capitol building during last January's assault by Trump loyalists. Officer Michael Fanone met with McCarthy, who has opposed the formation of a bipartisan commission to investigate the attack. Fanone says that McCarthy told him, quote, he would address it on a personal level with some of those members. Fanone says McCarthy's response wasn't satisfactory. The Guardian reporting Fanone told reporters waiting outside McCarthy's office simply, "I need a drink," after coming out of the meeting. We reached out to McCarthy's office for comment. A spokesperson responded in part, quote, saying he listened earnestly and intently to their concerns and remains committed to steadfastly combating all forms of violence and holding those who break the law fully accountable, end quote. Meantime, a Tehachapi High School graduate convicted of assaulting 2 Russian police officers in 2018 will remain in prison after a Moscow court rejected his appeal yesterday. 29-year-old Trevor Reed, one of 2 former U.S. Marines being held in Russia, was sentenced to 9 years last July following a trial U.S. officials believe was a sham. Reed and Paul Whelan have spent about 2 years in Russian jails on separate charges, which U.S. officials say were fabricated so they can be used as bargaining chips. Reed, whose family now lives in Texas, could now be moved to a prison camp outside of Moscow. Reed's lawyers say they'll appeal again to a higher court in Russia. Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy spoke out about the ruling, saying today a Russian court unjustly denied U.S. Marine veteran Trevor Reed's appeal to be released from a Russian prison. This is a travesty. President Biden must put pressure on Putin to immediately release Trevor Reed.
Here at home, the Kern County Board of Supervisors held a Truth Act forum last night. The Truth Act took effect in January 2017, and it states that immigration, customs, and enforcement programs that collaborate with local law enforcement must be subject to public oversight. That means the community deserves to know how ICE is interacting with law enforcement in our area.
Kern County and the Sheriff's Office have an opportunity to change its course and remove themselves as the 4th county with most ICE arrests and the ranking of 20th in the nation with most ICE arrests. The impact is so severe when you think about children who are left without their parents.
Supervisors will hold a discussion on the subject during the Board of Supervisors meeting today. And also today, the Kern County Supervisors plan to review the proposed $3 billion county budget for the upcoming fiscal year. Included in the budget, just more than $248 million for the Sheriff's Office and more than $150 million for the Fire Department. Under the proposal, all county fire stations will remain open in the coming fiscal year, and the Sheriff's Office will see additional hires. The proposal also restores funding to local libraries, which was cut by 7.5% last year. Though the review is slated for today, supervisors will not vote on the budget until September.
Check this out. A family of black bears was caught on video enjoying the beach at Lake Tahoe. A bystander shot this video of the bears' day at the beach. About a dozen people watched on as an adult bear lumbered up the sand and out of sight. For the 3 baby bears, the water must have been not too cold, not too hot, just right. They stayed behind playing at the water's edge before scampering away. The woman who shot the video said the adult bear got away with someone's cooler before heading back into the forest.
So the bear had a mission, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. You distract them while I get the cooler.
Clinica Sierra Vista is now offering rapid COVID-19 testing and COVID-19 vaccinations. Call 833-278-4584 to make your appointment. But don't delay. Clinica Sierra Vista, putting patients first.
Welcome back here at 519 with more headlines from around the nation. Grim news this morning from Surfside, Florida. 2 bodies were recovered from the wreckage of last week's residential building collapse. The death toll now stands at 11, with 150 people still missing. NBC's Dan Sheneman has the latest.
At the scene of last week's building collapse, the painstaking search goes on.
As we come across a crevice, as we come across a small void, that's where we continue to focus and continue moving, continue digging through deeper to see if we find anything further.
Crews working 12-hour shifts, battling Mother Nature and shifting rubble.
If the rubble shifts, we stop because you can't take a chance of the rubble shifting and harming somebody's life below.
While the search continues, so does the wait and the worry.
I saw her last month. I wish I hugged her harder.
Near the scene, a memorial is growing. Condolences, flowers, and photos of the missing. A community clinging to hope and already dealing with grief. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
President Biden hits the road today to deal with roads that need repair. In a Yahoo News op-ed, President Biden gives a preview of what he'll say in Wisconsin tonight. That the infrastructure deal would create good jobs and dramatically strengthen our economy. But there's pushback from Americans who argue it does not address the climate crisis and Republicans after the president linked signing the bill to a Democrat-only measure on social priorities like child care.
I'm not sure I've ever seen someone double-cross his negotiating partners in a span of just 2 hours.
The White House put out a lengthy memo last night detailing the plan. They're selling it as good for blue-collar workers, saying 90% of the jobs created would go to people with no college degree. The U.S. Supreme Court handed a victory to a transgender student who was not allowed to use the bathroom of his choice. The court decided not to take up the case of Gavin Grimm of Virginia, who was denied access to the boys' bathroom by the county school board. At issue was whether federal anti-discrimination law applied to LGBTQ students. By passing on the issue, the High Court allowed Grimm's victory in the appeals court to remain intact. Lower courts had struck down rules that prohibit transgender students from using school bathrooms that correspond with their gender identity.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Well, it is a good week for foodies in Bakersfield with a slew of new restaurants opening for business. The iconic Randy's Donuts is opening for business today. This is considered a soft opening with the grand opening set for July 20th. The new location on California Avenue in Bakersfield will be the first in Central California. And if the name sounds familiar, you've probably seen the 32-foot tall donut atop the original location in Inglewood. The Southern California location is a Los Angeles landmark seen in various movies and television shows. They're also hiring for multiple positions at the store. For more information on how to submit an application, just head to kget.com. And Filipino fast food chain Jollibee is set to open its doors to the public this week at its new location in Bakersfield. The restaurant, located on Stockdale Highway near California Avenue in the former Carl's Jr. building, will open at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The popular chain has dozens of locations across California, including one in Delano, which opened in January. In addition to indoor service, the company says it will offer drive-through, to-go, and online ordering options. In your 17 Crime Watch, 6 Bakersfield men were arrested in an online child sexting operation over the weekend. The Bakersfield Police Department says detectives posing as a minor were contacted by the men who made plans to meet for sex. They were all identified as men between 28 and 33 years old. To see who was arrested, just head to our website, kget.com. Police say a postal worker was robbed of packages and a purse in Southwest Bakersfield. It happened Sunday around 9:15 in the morning on Bell Terrace, west of Stein Road. The postal worker told police 2 people approached her and demanded the keys to the postal vehicle. She handed the keys over and the robbers took multiple packages and her purse from the car. The robbers, a man and a woman, left in a gold older model 4-door vehicle without any license plates. Anyone with information can call police at 327-7111.
5:38 now to the COVID-19 pandemic around the world. The new Delta variant is raising new concerns, and several countries are grappling with how to stem the rising tide of cases. In Russia, Moscow authorities implemented a very controversial vaccine passport system yesterday. Vaccinated citizens will need to get QR codes to go into restaurants, cafes, or bars. Everyone else will not be allowed inside. In South Africa, authorities are reimposing strict guidelines for the next 14 days as they see pockets of Delta spreading. Israel, which is a highly vaccinated population, is also considering lockdowns and restrictions. Due to the rise in Delta cases, the World Health Organization wants people to continue to wear masks, social distance, and practice other COVID-19 pandemic safety measures, even if they're vaccinated. WHO officials say the vaccine alone won't stop community transmission. They are asking fully vaccinated people to play it safe because a large portion of the world remains unvaccinated, and highly contagious variants like Delta are leading to outbreaks.
We would be just a few months away from a COVID-19 vaccine for kids 5 years and up. Pfizer is currently studying the vaccine effectiveness for more than 4,000 kids in that age group. There are 250 of them participating in the trial at Children's Hospital, Colorado. Victoria De Leon introduces us to one of those kids.
Life for many of us feels closer to normal these days. We're going to restaurants, having get-togethers, and wearing our masks less.
And then another thing I'd love to do is just go see my friends and have a big party.
9-year-old Diamo isn't quite there yet. His mom, dad, and even 13-year-old brother Ezra have all been vaccinated, but there isn't a COVID-19 vaccine for kids under 12 yet.
Well, I have to admit, so when I heard that Ezra got his vaccination, I was excited for him, but it was kind of sad that I couldn't get one, and I still had to wear that sticky, smelly, disgusting mask.
Luckily, normal is within reach for him and other kids his age. Diamo is part of Pfizer's vaccine trial for kids 5 to 11 years old at Children's Hospital, Colorado. When his family found out about it, his dad says they signed him up without hesitation.
And so we just looked at the facts and realized that there wasn't really a risk.
I was super excited because I knew now if I do this, I could actually help the vaccine out.
Dr. Pio Coley says Diamo and the other kids in this trial are playing an important role in an even more important time.
We now have a Delta variant. We now have all these aggressive variants, and we don't know what the long-term implications of being infected with those types of variants at a young age are.
Diamo doesn't know if he received the real vaccine or a placebo.
I'm actually feeling pretty excited.
But does know he's at least a little closer to throwing that mask away.
And we're back here at 5:51. Independence Day less than a week away, and that means a lot of people are stocking up on fireworks. But the San Joaquin Valley Air District says it's not a good idea. During a media briefing yesterday, the agency urged people to refrain from using personal fireworks, especially around the 4th of July holiday, to help reduce particulate matter emissions and protect public health. And if you think a mask will keep you safe, officials say think again.
Masks, face masks, such as the cloth face mask that we were all wearing for COVID, may not be able to keep those small particles from getting into your lungs.
The Air District says if you have to let off fireworks, make sure they are the safe and sane kind, and maybe limit the amount you set off and limit the amount of time you're outside. The Bakersfield Fire Department wants you to drop off your illegal fireworks, no questions asked. They're hosting a drop-off event where you can surrender any illegal fireworks you have, including firecrackers, skyrockets, Roman candles, ground blooms, and Piccolo Petes. It's happening today and tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the fire station on the corner of 21st and 8th Streets here in downtown Bakersfield. Those who turn in fireworks will be entered into a raffle to win a safe and sane fireworks package. Winners will be drawn July 1st.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com. The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.